the person you have been missing the whole time, the person you've been longing for, was you. It was that true self that you missed. And you thought you were going to find it by other people, by making sure other people liked you. But no matter how much anyone else liked you, it never fulfilled you. It never gave you a sense of satisfaction. And in fact, when they did try and show you love, you either rejected it and pushed it away, or you didn't accept it. You wouldn't let it in because you didn't believe you were worthy of it. So it didn't even equate as love anyway. So today we're going to be talking about true love and why true love is so freaking hard to have. Why it's so hard to find or experience in our lives. If you have conflict in your relationships and you are just longing to have peace and love and open-hearted conversations and, just this epic experience of two people who just genuinely care for each other and love each other. If you're wanting that and having a hard time having that, I think I have a few things that will shed some light as to why. So shortly after I left my husband of 12 years, I'm a massage therapist. I have a client come in. And this client, I'm doing emotion work. I offer something called Compassion Key. It's a way that we clear emotional wounds. Anyway, I'm working with this client. She's a beautiful soul. And I find out after the session that she is a marriage and family therapist. And I was like, I need you in my life. We end up spending a lot of time together. She ends up becoming like a dear friend of mine, a soulmate friend. She starts teaching me about the true self and how to find the true self and how so many of us are not in our true selves. And I learn, or something clicks into place with her, that this is why true love is so hard to experience, because so many of us are not in our true selves and not being our true self or able to be our true self with another person. So she teaches me some incredible things. I want to show you. I need to draw it. So I'm going to go to the whiteboard and we'll continue there. Okay, so I'm in my son's room. Don't mind the guitar tabs on the board. This is what I wanted to show you really quick. So this is called internal family systems, if any of you have heard of it. But I want to show you how it relates to like relationships in the context that we're talking. So I hope you can see this without that glare of the... So this little circle is what we would call the self, or the true self. Our true self is like, it's the weirdo, the internal, like, this is a place where you are totally wild and free. You're creative, you're connected, you're in your body, you're, experiencing things in the moment. You just kind of, speaking what you really think and feel. You are connected to truth and it's just flowing freely from you. And you're just experiencing and enjoying life freely yourself, right? We know what that feels like, and we have these moments of like, almost like you're in flow with who you are, right? So I hope you can kind of like connect to that. Maybe even close your eyes and think of a time where it's like, yes, like I was like fully alive in this moment. So I actually do want you to just take a deep breath with me and connect into a moment where you were being your true self. Maybe just really quirky things coming out of you, just totally, not caring what anyone thinks and just being you. Okay, so that's the true self. As we go through life, there will be times where certain things happen, and there's a part of us that we feel ashamed of, and we kick it out. These are our exiles. So these are the parts of us that we start thinking are terrible parts of us, maybe unworthy, maybe we feel ashamed of something we've done, maybe we had a critical partner or a critical parent that made us feel ashamed of a part of ourselves, and we're just like, oh, I'm just going to tuck that away, like that's not acceptable here on earth, whatever. So we kick these parts out. These are the exiles, these are the trauma pieces of us that haven't been healed, right? So the more of these we have, you'll see. But anyway, we all have these different exiles. Then, to pretend we don't have exiles, we create what she calls, or what they call, an internal, this is called internal family systems. If you want to look it up and do a little bit of research on your own. How beautiful that handwriting is. Okay, these would be called the managers. So these are the parts of us that we're like, no, like I'm totally great, I'm good. We create personas or wear a mask. And this is the person that we typically present on the first date. Like, I'm a wonderful human and here is why, you know? It's also the part of us that tries to make sure people love us. So we can do that either through people pleasing if we're on one side of the spectrum, or we can do it through like controlling the situation. So we can love bomb or like try and control, right? These would be our managers. And this, honestly, they're created just to be like, you know, even though these are here, I still want you to love me, so I have to create this, right? Because you're not going to love this because it's all broken up now. So we create these managers. And we feel a little bit like in true self, you're just chilling in like a regulated nervous system. When we start getting into managers, we're like, I feel not super safe here. So I need to manage this situation to feel enough and to make sure that they're loving me. When this does not go well, we jump into, this is called firefighters. Oh my gosh. Firefighters. Fighters. These are the parts of us that we're not just like a little nervous and hoping for love here. We're like, I'm not okay. I'm not going to be loved. Going into mostly like primal brain, disassociating and acting in ways that later we're not proud of. Okay? This can be extreme exploding where we're, taking things out on the person in front of us, or it can be extreme imploding where we're destroying our sense of self. Imploding would be like worst of the worst, like suicidal mode, okay? Or like, I'm gonna destroy this relationship because I don't feel worthy and it's not gonna work out, okay? So, excuse me, I'm recovering from a cold. So I go into this quite a bit deeper on what this looks like on the passive side of things and what this looks like on the aggressive side of things in my groups, if you work with me in a group setting, or if you go into one-on-ones or whatever with me. So if you work deeper with me, I'll teach you a little bit more about this. But for now, I just wanted to create this quick video. Once we are in firefighter mode and these guys are going freaking crazy and destroying very beautiful things, once our nervous system regulates, we calm down, we feel even more ashamed. I can't believe I acted that way. Then in relationships, we try even harder to manage how people see us, right? We either go further into people pleasing or further into controlling how they see us or the way that they see us. And then that doesn't work. This gets bigger. And as this continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger, you see the true self get smaller and smaller and smaller. it becomes this vicious cycle of, I don't even know who I am anymore. I have tried so hard to make these relationships work that I don't even remember what movies I like. I don't even remember what food I like, because I have been doing this dance of trying to get to people to love me. You cannot be truly loved by someone if you are trying to get them to love you by doing this. You will never be truly loved that way. It will never feel fulfilling. It will feel superficial. It will feel like a song and a dance every day. It will feel like you're doing a juggling act. It will be exhausting. And then you continue getting smaller and smaller as you try and control the situation. So what's the way out? The way out is to go and find these exiles and to bring them back home to the true self. This is what I do in my courses. This is what I do in my private practice. We go and find those exiles and we bring them back home. I use something called Compassion Key. We use self-compassion to bring them back home, and it is epic. If you need help with any of this, feel free to reach out and contact me. One final thought before I close this video. So the miracle in all of this, and the thing that brings me the most amount of joy, is as I work with my clients and I notice that their true self is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? We're going and gathering those exiles and bringing them back home. And there's parts of them that they deemed unworthy of love their whole life. And they start realizing all of those parts of them have always been worthy of love. And as they start bringing them back in, this true self, right, gets bigger, 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 bigger. And they start noticing with the people around them, they're just being them. And the more and more and more a person is themselves, the more and more people just flood around them and are magnets to them. But the miracle about all of this, and the thing that I didn't expect as I did my own healing work, was that it actually doesn't matter anymore if other people like you or not. It doesn't matter anymore. All of that energy that you had been putting into controlling how people see you, it's just like I actually don't care because I have me. And you realize the person you have been missing the whole time, the person you've been longing for, was you. It was that true self that you missed. And you thought you were going to find it by other people, by making sure other people liked you. But no matter how much anyone else liked you, it never fulfilled you. It never gave you a sense of satisfaction. And in fact, when they did try and show you love, you either rejected it and pushed it away, or you didn't accept it. You wouldn't let it in because you didn't believe you were worthy of it. So it didn't even equate as love anyway. It's like this whole song and dance that never equated to love. You thought you were going to get love. It didn't work. And at the end of the day, as you bring those loving parts back of you, you're like, oh, this is the one I wanted love from anyway. This is the one I've missed all of this time. And truly, it's like, you're the coolest one. You're the one I wanted to hang out with. Like, there's just so much joy. You see people who just find so much joy just being themselves and hanging out by themselves. And they have a few friends, but they're half of you their way. And the amount of peace that comes into your life as you do this work is phenomenal. So I just wanted to invite you, if you are interested in doing this work and diving in and gathering up those exiles, come and join me.